Lystrosaurus, the smallest extinct conqueror of Pangaea, may have been small in size, but it was a true force to be reckoned with. Lystrosaurus is one of the few terrestrial creatures to have survived one of geologic history's most catastrophic extinction catastrophes, the Permian Triassic Extinction. The creature was the size of a pig and lived approximately 250 million years ago. It comprised 95% of all terrestrial vertebrates at one time during the early Triassic. The finding of the Lystrosaurus fossil produced key evidence supporting continental drift and land bridging. Lystrosaurus is a genus of extinct icynodont therapsids from the early Triassic and late Permian eras. The name is derived from the Greek words lystrosaurus, which translates as shovel lizard. Lystrosaurus was 3 to 8 feet long and weighed about 200 pounds. That is around the size of a typical pig. Lystrosaurus also resembled a pig in appearance, with a small snout. The only teeth seen, however, were 2 tusk-like top canines. They also possessed horny beaks like turtles for tearing off plants. The animal's eye orbits were dorsally situated, and its 2 tusks were positioned deeply in the upper jaw. The tusk wear indicates that Lystrosaurus used them for digging and rooting out plants. During a shearing action, the jaw joint was weak and moved in upward and backward movements rather than the typical up and down or sideways movement. The lower jaw could also move forward and backward, allowing Lystrosaurus to readily transfer plants into its mouth. The nostrils on the animal's curled snout were high up, enabling it to graze in shallow waters or marsh and swamp settings. Lystrosaurus had a spreading stance as well as a short tail. Each of its feet had 5 toes, and its front legs had larger bones than its back legs. Lystrosaurus, like other tetrapods, moved on all fours, its legs stretched out to the sides like alligator legs. Their 5 sacral vertebrae were enormous, yet they were not connected to one another or the pelvis. As a consequence, the back became stiff. Lystrosaurus was thought to be a formidable digger and burrower by paleontologists. According to bone histology, Lystrosaurus was a fast-growing animal. Lystrosaurus possessed dimpled, leathery, and hairless skin, according to mummified specimens from the Karoo Basin. Lystrosaurus was a herbivorous dinosaur. The animal lacked teeth in the traditional sense. Instead, it possessed 2 tusks that protruded downward from the maxilla and were used to dig out plant roots. Aside from that, Lystrosaurus possessed horny beaks for shearing and snipping off plants above ground, and they ground the vegetation with a horny second palate in their mouth. But how did Lystrosaurus survive and thrive in such a challenging environment? Watch it till the end to learn more. Lystrosaurus was suited to consuming a variety of plants since it lived in varied habitats across a broad range of geographical areas. Many species consumed Dicroidium, an extinct genus of fork-leaved ferns that flourished throughout the Permian and Triassic periods. Bigger species, such as Lystrosaurus macaque, are likely to have developed to subsist on bigger plants of the time, such as Glossopteris fora. This plant, however, did not escape the Permian extinction. Lystrosaurus was found all throughout the southern continents, with the most bones discovered in South Africa. Other finds have come from Russia, India, Mongolia, China, and Antarctica. Lystrosaurus existed roughly 250 million years ago during the late Permian and early Triassic eras. Their fossil representation is likewise one of the most prevalent early Triassic fossil species. Following the Permian Triassic extinction, Lystrosaurus had no dangers or predators. The extinction catastrophe, also known as the Great Dying, wiped off almost 95% of all life on Earth. At least one unnamed species, however, survived the global extinction. Only the 5-foot-long moschorhinus and the enormous proterosuchus were huge enough to feed on the Triassic Lystrosaurus species. Dr. Elias Root Beadle, a Philadelphia missionary and enthusiastic fossil collector, unearthed the first Lystrosaurus skull. He wrote about his findings to paleontologist Othniel Charles Marsh, but got no response. However, Marsh's main adversary, Edward Drinker Cope, became interested in the discovery and named Lystrosaurus in 1870. The majority of Lystrosaurus fossils were discovered in South Africa's Karoo Basin's Balfour and Katberg formations. Around 250 million years ago, the Permian Triassic Extinction, often known as the Great Dying, killed off a few Lystrosaurus species. Some species, however, did escape extinction. Although some experts attribute their existence to chance, it is still unknown how they survived the mother of all mass extinctions. Growth marks seen in certain fossil tusks imply that the Antarctic Lystrosaurus species may have entered a state of protracted slumber comparable to hibernation. Lystrosaurus may have been small in size, but it was a true conqueror of Pangaea. Its ability to adapt and thrive in a changing world is a testament to the resilience of life on Earth. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history, and we hope you enjoyed learning about this fascinating extinct conqueror.